Welcome to the Week 4 video lecture for Land Use and Planning. This week, we will be exploring ecological landscape planning and ecosystem management. Ecological landscape planning advocates the study of the biophysical and sociocultural systems of a place to determine optimal land use patterns. The approach strives for an understanding of the many and complex relationships that influence communities within the context of a bioregion. In addition to traditional resources such as water, fisheries, wildlife, and forest products, natural systems are valued for open space, aesthetics, and recreational opportunities. Ecosystems also provide benefits that are difficult to measure, such as climate regulation, nutrient cycling, biodiversity, and the maintenance of environmental quality. Recognition that many of the products we use every day and the drugs used to treat medical ailments were derived from wild or once wild organisms has heightened awareness of the importance of biodiversity. Protection of biodiversity, the sum total of living organisms and the ecosystems that support them, is increasingly being viewed as both an ethical and economic imperative. Because we know so little about the myriad ecological connections that organize ecosystems into self-sustaining entities, maintaining and restoring the ecological integrity of ecosystems is an essential component of natural resource conservation. With increasing sprawl type of development, ecosystems are threatened by conversion, degradation, and fragmentation. One of the greatest threats to biodiversity and ecosystem integrity, and one of the most difficult to manage, is the impact of exotic pests, diseases, and invasive species. The protection and restoration of natural systems and an ecosystem's approach to resource management are essential for sustainable human societies. People have had a tremendous impact on habitats worldwide. Approximately half of the Earth's land area has been transformed for human use. 11% each for farming and forestry, 26% for livestock pasture, and 2 to 3% for development, housing, industry, services, transportation. Forest cover has been reduced worldwide. The tropical forests in the Caribbean, Central and South America decreased by 670,000 square kilometers from 1980 to 1995, the greatest loss in the world during this time period. North America is experiencing forest regrowth after widespread clearing, yet forest quality is declining. The losses of natural grassland are extreme. Since 1830, the provinces of Canada and the states of the U.S. have lost 20% to 86% of their shortgrass prairies, 31% to more than 99% of their mixed grass prairies, and 83% to more than 99% of their tallgrass prairies. Much of the grasslands in South America, such as the steppes of Argentina, have been degraded by overgrazing. 2/3 of the world's rivers have been altered and regulated. More than 50% of all wetlands in the contiguous U.S. and many of the wetlands in Canada have been drained or filled since the time of European settlement. Despite restoration projects, loss of wetlands in North America has slowed but not stopped. The rate of wetland loss in Latin America remains high. Human-caused water pollution is a global problem, but can most effectively be addressed at the local scale. Stormwater runoff carries pollutants from our neighborhood streets, fertilizer from our lawns, and pesticides and sediment from our farmland into creeks and rivers. The Gulf of Mexico, one of North America's most productive marine areas, is heavily affected by coastal development. It contains a 4,144 square kilometer dead zone, an area of little or no oxygen, caused by excess fertilizer and other pollutants. People have chosen to dedicate some areas to wildlife habitat. The World Conservation Union, an international consortium of government agencies and conservation organizations, recommends that 12% of the world's land area be set aside for wildlife. The Caribbean and Central and South America are among the most biodiverse places on Earth, and the amount of land under some form of conservation protection is increasing, with nearly 7% of the land area under protection. Although legal status does not always mean actual protection in this region, the designation of protected lands is a good start. In North America, 2.5 million square kilometers of land, freshwater, and marine areas, 9% of the total continent, is set aside for wildlife habitat. Protected areas are essential for maintaining many forms of wildlife. However, not all natural habitat can be protected from human activity. Thus, our challenge is to create managed landscapes and ensure that our developments are compatible with the ecosystems in which they are embedded. Land use planning is increasingly looking at ways to incorporate nature into human environments. Planners, educators, and social scientists are recognizing the many values that nearby nature can provide for people on an everyday basis. Exposure to nature is especially important for child development, as it's been shown to reduce the incidence of ADHD, increase creativity, and reduce obesity. We'll delve further into sustainable site design in week 5.